All right, so this morning I woke up and I wasn't feeling too hot. I didn't feel like going to the gym. I didn't feel like eating anything. I just felt like moving the furniture around in my room to try and see if I can find a place where I was comfortable with everything being. And as I was moving it, I was thinking to myself, you know what? There's no way I'm ever going to feel comfortable living here. This place is too junky. The walls are too thin. If you can believe this, I can hear my neighbor fart in her apartment next to me. That's how thin the walls are to one how close we sleep to one another, even though I don't know what she looks like. Anyhow, so when I finally got my desk moved over, I got the whole thing cleaned up. While I was working on moving the furniture, I was also working on my book, and I changed the storyline to something a lot more bleak, if you can believe that. From the man sitting in his underwear in the living room wondering what he's going to do after he gets fired, to a woman on the edge of a corporate building getting ready to ask Jesus to catch her, and then everything that happens. So in the book, she commits and then realizes, nope, I don't think I want to do this. But at that point, it's too late. She's holding on to the building and she's scaling down the side of the building. Uh, Anyhow, the book is very vivid. So I will continue to work on that book. But then after that, I came out here into the living room and I sat down and I started up the Pearl Church. And you guys all hopped on. Everybody's really nice. And then Mello came along. And, well, I imagine this is what Mello looked like. She's sitting in her own living room. She looks at her phone. She gets a notification that I've gone live. And normally, she was one of the first people to be there, but this time it took her a little bit, so she probably wasn't looking right at her phone. But there's one thing that she was looking at. She knew she was running out of time before the work week started. Mello works in retail. Mello's always worked in retail. That means that Mello's never enjoyed the freedom of having a paid holiday, just like I didn't for years. Hell, I've never had medical insurance. I mean, that's how crappy my life has been for my entire adult life. Even access to medical insurance was restricted to me for much of my adult life. I mean, I've been a minimum wage worker since I was a teenager. So I know what it's like to sit there. It's 10 o'clock. She knows that she has to be in bed by 7 to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning for work. Knowing that work was just a little ways away was probably extremely hard on her. And that's why, as soon as I saw her pop up in the chat, I mean, I could have called her, but we don't talk very much these days anymore. And so I asked her if she wanted to go with me to get something. I wanted to go to the store and get something, and she was like, "Yep, let me get ready." And then, like 34 minutes later, she was standing in my living room looking at my couch. Anyhow, yeah, that happened today, and so that's why I cut the live stream short, because I really needed another pair of hands to help me lift things. Isn't that amazing? When we think of other people, we don't think about hanging out with them. We think about how we can use them to help us move things. that's that's what we came to the conclusion this morning. Anyhow, let's get into my monologue. I just wanted to buy a TV today. That's how it started. A simple errand before the work week began, but Mela wasn't having it. She said she couldn't waste her last day of freedom sitting around like she was already dead inside. So instead, we drove. Nowhere in particular, just trying to outrun the feeling that Monday was already breathing down our necks. So that's how it began. Like, she got here, she sat down, I gave her a water, and then we just got in the Promobile and we just started driving. Talking point number one: most poor and working class people don't get vacations. They get temporary pauses before returning to exhaustion. Days off aren't restful, Their desperate attempts to cram joy, errands, and sanity into a few fleeting hours before labor takes over again. If you're like me, you have to work all the time. I mean, I work 7 days a week. I'm not doing this right now out of the kindness of my heart. This is a job, people. And for a lot of us that have to work these exhausting 7 day a week work weeks, it's not about the work. It's not about Evil Corp. It's not about anything. I mean, Mello and I were talking about how it's impossible to escape from Evil Corp's clutches. No matter where you go in life, there's going to be an evil corporation who's sucking your soul while it profits from your pain and suffering. And that's what Mello said to me in the car as we were driving back to my house today, is that there's no way. Its hand is always on your booty. Because if you're not getting exploited, well, the system's not working. So you have to be exploited for every possible second that you can help Evil Corp generate record profits for the people that matter. And it's not you and me that matter. I assure you, us hourly workers aren't useful to a corporation if we're not working. So that's how we spend our days. We spend our days trying to pretend that we don't work at Evil Corp. And actually, that's she brought something up. She mentioned a scene in the in a series. I think it's on HBO. I think HBO Max or just Max now. She brought up that show again, Severance, where they have a woman who's brought into different rooms to do the menial labor of the corporation, right? And they're moving her from one room to another, to another, to another, in a sense of torturing the proletariat. Because we go to one place and we do this, we go to another place and we do this, we go to another place and we do this. I mean, when you're like me or Mello, I mean, Mello's worked in a store since I've known her. In fact, that's where I met her. That's where I meet a lot of my real life friends, not my work friends, but my real life friends that they work in grocery stores. That's why I talk so much about NPCs. Because most people, when you meet them, they don't say anything. I mean, Mello and I were sitting inside the restaurant eating lunch today. And I was just watching her. I mean, I've gotten to the point where I know exactly how she eats, right? So Mello starts eating like this. She gets her food, she gets really excited, and she starts eating and eating and eating, and then she gets full really fast, right? So I'd say within 5 minutes of starting eating, Mello's already full. And you know how I know? Because she slows down. She stops putting food in her mouth and she starts playing with her food. And while we're doing that, I'm trying to cram everything that happened in my work week into that conversation. And at that point, she stops me and she's like, "How do you know so many different women?" And I'm like, "Oh, people talk to me." I mean, the whole reason we were sitting in a crowded restaurant at the Chandler Mall at noon was because she's one of those people. She found me on the internet and we met in real life. But people, and I'm going to use this expression again. And I heard this expression from the senior manager from when I first started working at this Evil Corp. Remember, this Evil Corp. All jobs are Evil Corp, but this particular one. And my boss was a strange little man, right? And I would tell him about how I spent my weekend or who I was with or what I was doing. And he said to me, "Millennial Stim, you're all of the people that you choose to be around are emotionally broken. That's how they find you." And I literally am the king of broken toys. Anywhere there's a broken person in this world, somehow they're going to find me. And that's what all my married women have in common. The dozens and dozens of married women that I've met throughout my life that I spend my time talking to, they find me because there's something about me that's different than other people. I never meet emotionally healthy people. Like, I just got a video from a girl who lifted up her shirt, showed me that she had removed things in her chest area, and then took her shirt back down. And I was just like, wow. I mean, obviously, this wasn't one of my other, no one that I know of at Evil Corp, but she sent me this video at 1 o'clock, and I was pulling into the Kroger's parking lot. And I was looking at it, and I had this video with me. I actually received this video while I was eating with Mello, and I thought, oh my God, imagine if I had opened this message up while I was sitting in the restaurant and Mello was sitting right next to me. Anyhow, talking point number 2. Retail and service workers are expected to smile, perform, and endure even while grieving, broke, or mentally collapsing. The emotional labor behind the register often goes unnoticed, revealing how dehumanizing workers have become under capitalism. Revealing how dehumanized. I thought it meant dehumanized workers have become under capitalism. For some reason, we were in a clothing store. I was with Mello this afternoon, and walking through this clothing store, and I was looking at all the different shapes of all the different people inside the store. This was an upscale store that Mello hadn't ever been to. And I was just looking at everyone, and everyone had kind of, I mean, we all kind of share the same shape, right? Arms, legs, a torso, a head. But you look at how much variety there is, because the mall was extremely crowded. For a summer day in the afternoon, it was very, very crowded. I mean, there were places where there wasn't, you had to tuck your arms in because there were so many people there. But we got to the register and I looked up at our cashier. A 6'3" CrossFit athlete that looked 9 months pregnant. And I was like, you don't look like that because you don't work out. Like, she had shoulders. She was a CrossFit athlete. I mean, when you watch as much CrossFit competition as I do, I watch it nearly every night. I mean, you know what these ladies look like. But the contrast between her muscles and that gigantic belly was amazing. And even when we got outside, Mela looks at me and she's like, "Man, she was really pretty." And I'm like, "Yep." And 6'3". I was just like, I saw her walking around in the store a few times, and I just kind of looked at the women that were working there. Normally, in a store like that, in a high end fitness clothing store, you won't see a lot of different shapes. You'll see a classic fitness shape typically. But I saw everything in there. And it reminded me that more and more ordinary people have to take these retail jobs. And they're not allowed to not smile. Like, when I worked at Kroger's, my manager told me every single day, if you're not smiling, you're not working here. And it is incredibly difficult to force yourself to smile at a job that they could replace you at the drop of a hat. That's what every single worker walking around in that store was thinking. I have zero job security. I know that's what Mallow thinks about during the day when she works, and it's one of those things that just wanders around in your head. It's like the video that I made yesterday. That if you remember, you can watch it now. Special thanks to Blue this morning for giving out more memberships out to the channel. Blue's been an incredible supporter of this channel for nearly a year. And I can't get enough of how much she donates to this channel. So if you guys get a chance, go over and thank Blue for her very, very generous donation this morning. Anyhow, let's move on to talking point number 3. For people trapped in low-wage cycles, small joys like aimlessly shopping, eating out, or laughing with a friend become acts of quiet resistance. It's not about consumerism It's about reclaiming stolen time, even if it's just for one last day. That's what I felt like when I was sitting with Mello this morning. She was getting her nails painted, and I'm amazed that someone at her age doesn't do this normally. Like the first time we went that I took her, it was like she was getting something done that was so special that she didn't know how to act. I mean, I remember looking at her own feet. Now it's just like she's looking at them like a child does when they get a new toy, right? You're looking at it and you're looking at it, and this is the best state it's ever going to be in, right? You're looking at your toy. It is in mint condition. That's how she was looking at her feet. And that's how she looks at her feet every single time, like a child with a brand new toy. And it was just one of those things that she just doesn't do. And we have since I'm gonna say since about January, we haven't spent much time together. Not not sufficient time, I would say. Like, and it's not because of anything other than I think we get used to the cycle of just being alone all of the time. And while Mello and I were talking inside the restaurant while she was eating her orange chicken, she was telling me this that unlike me, who talks to dozens of women every single day, she doesn't have anyone to talk to. She truly works alone. And when at the end of the week, the cycle just repeats. And if she doesn't see anyone, it's just her and her husband for as it's been for I don't know, 10 years. I mean, I've known her for 16 years and she's known her current significant other for 10. But that's what she told me. It's like I don't have any friends, Millennial Stain. And I said to her, it's like, neither do I. All my friends are virtual. All the people I talk to on the phone live in Florida, California, New York, New Mexico, Oregon. I mean, you name it, I know someone that lives in that state, and I talk to them pretty frequently. And it's strange because I don't consider myself to be a social person. I mean, when I needed someone to help me move something, the only person that I know of that I could call on would be Mello. And we went, this is the sad part. So at the end of our trip, we actually went to the Megalomart. We went back to the electronics section. We looked at what I wanted, and the only thing I could fit in my car is what I already have. And I asked her, it's like, do you think you'd feel comfortable lifting this box? And she's just like, I don't think it will fit in your car, Millennial Steam. I'm like, I hadn't thought about that. But she couldn't lift it and it wouldn't fit in my car. So she's like, you better order it online because I don't think we can get this back to your house. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. I never really, the idea had popped into my head of going and buying this, but the actual act, like I knew I needed a second pair of hands, but I never took into consideration the sheer size of the box. Like if we got it out to my car and we took it out of the box, it would probably fit in the back of my car. But that's exactly how I felt when I went to go buy my area rugs. It's like I I was like, I knew what I wanted, but I have a little car, so I wasn't sure if it was actually going to go in. By the way, the rugs look amazing. I didn't spend a lot, but the rugs definitely add a element to this house. Like, and do you guys want to know why I bought rugs for the first time ever for my house? It's one simple reason why I bought rugs. I watch a lot of Sims 4, right? Every night I probably watch Sims gameplay for at least an hour, 7 days a week. Which is funny is that Mello was telling me that she was watching a show based on a video game, The Last of Us, and she told me she's never played the game, but she's watched people play it online. I think just like professional sports, we have become so lazy that we won't play the game ourselves. Maybe mainly because it's frustrating, or we just enjoy watching other people play. Like when I was a little kid, a really little kid, I remember having people going over to watch people play Nintendo at their house. Not wanting to play it myself, but definitely wanting to watch it. She told me she she was watching the TV series The Last of Us. And I told her, it's like, that girl, the young girl in that series, I mean, she looks so weird. And Mel was like, you know what? Not to be mean, but yeah, she doesn't fit the part. She said it's bad casting. And when she said that, what I thought in my head is that I felt the same way about pigeonholing people into retail and service jobs. No adult should be working a job that pays less than $50 an hour. Absolutely no one should be working that job. The only people who should be working minimum wage jobs are kids in high school or elderly people who just need a little extra money while they're retired or just to have something to do. But no, you have 30 and 40-year-old men who've fallen out of careers that are working in the retail and service industry. It doesn't suit them. They don't like it. It's humiliating. And the pay, child sized paychecks. Your MIC paycheck every 2 weeks. All right, let's get into the closing monologue. We didn't escape anything. Not really. The world still wants her clocked in, smiling, and obedient by sunrise. But for a few hours, she got to laugh, to roam, to do something other than be a wage slave, waiting for her next shift. And maybe that's the most rebellion we're allowed. One day before the machine eats us again. Before we assume the position and Fleece comes around asking you why it's been 2 days since he's seen you. Smacks that booty and says, more important than water.